Now, anytime you have a composition that's made up of many different layers, if you want to gain a little bit more control over those layers, you might want to consider using the pre-command function. That's what we are going to do in this video. We're going to animate the top layers separately from the bottom layers using pre-compose. So to get started, let's select layer 8 and hold down Shift and click on layer 4, select all the layers. Go back up to the top half of your composition panel to click and drag on those layers and drag into the left. I want you to notice the right side of those layers do contain a little bit extra information. We'll go ahead and crop the information off using pre-compose. I'm going to press Command Z or Control Z on Windows to undo that last command. With all the layers selected, I want you to go up to the layer menu and go down and choose pre-compose. Let's start by naming our pre-composition. I'm going to call this pop_pre. I like to use pre in the name so I can clearly label which comps are being used as pre-comp. Now the default settings should work perfectly well. I just want to draw your attention to this one option. If you ever have layers that are a different length of your composition, you may want to go ahead and select this option. Since our layers are primarily the length of the comp, we don't need to. So let's go ahead and just click OK, and you notice our pre-composition is now one layer. If we turn the visibility off and on, those layers are now one controllable layer. Now, I want you to click on this layer and drag it to the left, and you'll notice that the graphics have been cropped off. For any reason, if you decide you didn't want to crop that information, you can come down to the toggle, switches and modes button, and then go to the second option here under your switches and just enable collapse transformation. When you do that, that'll show any of the extra information that had been cropped off. Now we don't want to do that for this case, so let's go ahead and deselect that and actually just press Command Z a couple of times to get back to our original layout here with the pre-composition in the bottom of our timeline. Okay, now let's animate this sliding in from the left side of the project, right to its current position. Now since I know this is exactly where I want it to land, we're going to animate backwards by creating our second keyframe first. I know that sounds confusing, but just follow along. I'm going to move my current time indicator down to 1 second in my timeline and press P on my keyboard to open the position parameter. Now I can click on the stopwatch next to position to add my first keyframe. And then we can just move our current time indicator back to the beginning of the composition and click and drag our pre-comp off to the left. Now as you start to drag, hold down the Shift key and that'll snap it along the X-axis. Don't hold down Shift before you select the layers. Click and select to drag and then hold down Shift. So now you notice we've automatically created keyframes. If I go ahead and click and drag, you can see I have this animating in from the left to the right, which is exactly what I want. Now the real beauty of working with pre-composition is the fact that you can still access all those other layers. I want the word dedication to slide in from the right of the screen, right to where it is currently. So to do that, what I'll do is move my current time indicator to 1 second here. Then go ahead and double click on your pre-comp. That will open up the layers contained in the pre-comp. Now, if you select layer 1, you can press P to open up its position parameters. Then you can drag it right off the right side of our comp panel. And I'll go ahead and add a keyframe there. Then we can move down to about 2 seconds and click and drag on the X-axis to go ahead and reposition this back. Now it could have employed the same technique that we used previously to make sure that our exact keyframes match up. But let's actually go ahead and have dedication slide all the way into the window. Now if we go back to our original composition here and scrub through, you can see we've animated the video to slide in and our text to slide in separately. So when it comes to gaining more control over individual layers, you can definitely use pre-composition. The beauty resides in the fact that you can still always access those pre-comp layers while still adding an extra level of control in your main composition.